Is this on? Is this on? Ah, yes, wonderful. Godzilla is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power. Godzilla's approaching the generator. The generator's losing power. Oh my god, Godzilla is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power. Oh, I'm sorry, I must have... Okay, I'll be blunt, I was doing that on purpose to get your attention, but now that I got it... Hello, anyone who's watching... Oh, not watching, listening. Anyone who's listening to this. My name is Riemsianne Riles. And I'm starting up this little podcast called Riemsianne Rambles, where I basically, well, ramble about, random topics, whether it be in the world of, anime, manga, comics, or anything that I feel like talking about, or anything that I of interest. And they can be weird topics, but main part of this is, I don't know, I need something to do. I mean, I have hobbies, obviously, but I've just never tried something like this before. And, in a world like this that we live in, new ventures, can't really hurt. If this fails, it fails, but if it, wow. If it fails, it fails, but if it works, it works. Me being Captain Obvious. But as I said, what's the podcast going to be about? Well, as I said earlier, I'm going to be talking about nerdy stuff, like, anime, video games, TV, movies, some random stories about my life. I'll maybe read a little fanfiction here and there, just to be weird and cringy and all that stuff. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, but so, I'll start things off. So, a little bit about me. Believe it or not, as it may sound like a young, opprobrious 27-year-old woman, I'm actually 42. Believe it or not. I am 42 years old. One thing funny. My birthday, which is, December 11th, my birthday, me and my friend Roz, my co-worker, I work at... I'm an independent reporter, but I do work for an online website. What that website is, I don't feel like telling you. So, woo! Don't feel like telling you. I'm just joking. We don't actually work at a website. We kind of work. We work at a local radio station in my area. I live in Pennsylvania. I am not a native there. I moved from Liverpool, England. United Kingdom. So I live in Emmaus, Pennsylvania. I live in the Lehigh Valley area, so I live around, Emmaus, Allentown, and around the Bethlehem area. It's called the Lehigh Valley. So I live around there. It's near New Jersey. Screw New Jersey, by the way. It should be bombed. I'm sorry, I don't like New Jersey. But that is another conversation entirely. Oh my goodness. But yeah, love anime, manga. Some favorites of mine, the Dragon Ball franchise. I love Dragon Ball franchise. I just saw Dragon Ball Super Broly not too long ago. The best Dragon Ball movie to date, in my opinion. Everything from the animation, to the music, to the plots, to Broly's motivations, to the fight scenes. Oh my goodness, everything was beautiful. Now, there were a few flaws. There are some flaws with the animation, and I do feel a little bit that Broly... It's like... Here's the thing, and I know I'm going off topic, but, I'm going to be rambling. I shouldn't do this. It's my very first podcast. Alright, so, I'll talk about it a little bit later. But, yeah. So, anyway, favorite anime, the Dragon Ball franchise, especially Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Super, don't get me wrong, but love Dragon Ball Z specifically has a special place in my heart, in this franchise. I love the franchise as a whole. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, I will admit, I almost caught up with Diamond is Unbreakable. I am up to the actually final battle between Josuke and Yoshikage Kira. So I'm at that part. I have not seen part 5 yet. And I know I suck. I suck as an anime watcher. I don't know. I get distracted. I get distracted so often that I just, with the daily stuff that I have in my life, that I don't really have time to watch. Okay, I have time to watch anime, but I just don't. I don't make time for it. I should. But anyway, so Dragon Ball Z, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and my favorite, Cory in the House. Now, I did that on purpose. I know it's not an anime, but I don't care. It's the best anime ever created. Cory in the House is the best anime ever created in the history of forever. Fight me. Fight me on the side of the street for the honor of Cory in the House. Now, personally, I don't like the show all that much, on the Disney Channel. But that's another thing about me. I'm 42 years old, and I'm still watching the Disney Channel, even though there's not really many good shows on Disney Channel anymore. I mean, the Star and the Forces of Evil. Wait, is that even Disney? I forgot. Oh, so weird. But anyway, let's try to move this along. I love to work out. I work out every day. I work out twice a day. Obviously, first, I'd like to do it first in the morning, for about an hour. And, about in the evening for about 2 to 3 hours. I'm a fitness freak. I love fitness. I love Taekwondo. Well, specifically Taekwondo, but I love, Jeet Kune Do. I love martial arts. I love fighting. When I first watched Dragon Ball for the first time when it aired, I got so into the show that actually inspired me to fight, on a more serious level. Now, I've had a previous life where, I would need, to know, certain fighting styles like, Taekwondo and all that stuff, but I never took it seriously. I was never passionate about it. But, that's a story for another time. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. But, we're just gonna go with this. One of my favorite pastimes, I love to play fighting games. I'm an avid Tekken player. I love playing Super Smash Brothers, one of my favorite games of all time, period. Smash Ultimate is wonderful. I am a avid Snake / Ridley main. So there's that. Love Bayonetta. Getting into Mega Man pretty advently, believe it or not. I'm excited for Piranha Plant and version 2.0, which is coming very soon. Version 2.0 of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so it's going to be a huge balance patch. Really excited to see what's going to be changed. It's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, love to play Smash Brothers. Love to play Tekken. Love Tekken. I play Street Fighter every now and then. I love Dragon Ball Fighters, but I fell out of it for quite some time. But with Season 2 coming out, and with the announcement of both Jiren and Videl, for example, I'm super excited. I'm so excited for what Season 2 holds, and I might get back into the series, although I'm probably going to get it for the Switch. Because I used to have it for the Xbox, but I kind of traded it in for Smash Bros. Ultimate. I traded in a lot of games for Smash Bros. Ultimate, actually. Even though I have a job, and I could have just easily paid it. I don't know, I was that impatient. I couldn't wait till about 2 days after payday to get my money so I can get my copy of Smash Bros. Ultimate. I was that... Oh my god, I'm so strange. I am strange. But, hey, strange things happen with me every now and then, so it's weird. But that was a little bit about me. I guess. I'm 6'2", about 190 pounds, all muscle. Oh my goodness. I'm so weird. But, alright. So, wow. Never thought I'd do this, but I'll go there. Okay, so, I'm laughing too much, I guess. So, But that's a little bit about me. I guess I'll tell you a story. So this is the time I almost got robbed after coming back from sorry. But this is the time I almost got robbed at a transit center near my house in Amaze, Pennsylvania. Now, there's a place called the Allentown Transportation Center. I was coming back from a local there, around the Allentown area, for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, I made top 8. I lost to a Lucas player, a really good Lucas player. Even though he was annoying, spamming PK fire, PK fire, PK fire. He was a really good Lucas. I give it that. I made 4th place. 4th place. And that in a random local that I spontaneously went to. But I'm a decent snake. I still have a long ways to go, in terms of, being the best player that I can possibly be. But it's kind of hard when you have other stuff in your life, like, a job, a household, even though I live in a small apartment, I'm making a living so I can support myself. So, unfortunately, I'm busy with other things. Like I said earlier, I'm an independent reporter, independent journalist. I wouldn't say independent. I am working for a local TV station near where I live. The time I almost got robbed at this area called the Allentown Transportation Center. Now, the Allentown Transportation Center... Now, Allentown is a metropolis city. It's a metropolis. It's metropolitan. So I came back from the local. It was about 6 o'clock p.m. And this white woman... I know, I'm saying that. I'm saying white woman, named Onomatopoeia. Her full name was Onomatopoeia Sangria. It's weird. But I will not... Oh my goodness. So, Onomatopoeia Sangria threatened me at knife point. Even though I am eons stronger than her, and I would take her down in an instant, and she knew that I would. I know this woman. Every morning when I go to Starbucks, I know it's generic that a white British woman like me would go to a Starbucks, but she's the usual barista I interact with, and she is cringy as all hell. Oh my goodness. One time, she took her sister to a Chuck E. Cheese, her little sister to a Chuck E. Cheese, left her there, got the sandwich from a hobo near the Chuck E. Cheese area, the Chuck E. Cheese where she was, near Whitehall. She ate the sandwich, shoved it down her pants, and fed it to the homeless person. And the homeless person liked it. And let's just say her sister saw and got arrested. Because the cops showed up right afterwards, and she was out on bail. I had to pay her. I had to pay her bail because apparently she doesn't have any other friends but me. Even though I don't like the woman, but I'm going off topic here. So for some reason, out of nowhere, she threatens me at it's actually strange. It was first knife point, then gun point. So she was. So she held it towards my stomach. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, give me your money. Give me your money. She says that in that rhythmic pattern. Give me your money. So, she tries to attack me, and I just shove her face towards my knee, and I knock her out. At least that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because I was taking a bus so I can see one of my daughters. I am divorced, unfortunately. So, and I have a daughter from my ex-fiancé. Well, not ex. Why did I say ex-fiancé? See, here's one thing that's weird about me. I'm so weird. My words just come out of nowhere for me, but oh my god, okay, so I am all over the place. Now, I promise the next podcast that I'm going to do is going to be more structured, but this is kind of like a test podcast, just so, I can, warm myself up, test the waters a little bit, and learn what I did right and what I did wrong. But, basically, at the time, my car was getting service, so I had to take the bus transit. So I was taking the bus transit home to Emmaus, when all of a sudden, Onomatopoeia takes out a gun from her back pocket, and she randomly shoots around in the area. Now, they weren't real bullets, they were just... they were Nerf guns. And she got tackled by minority gang members. There were 5 of them who saw her. And they tackled her and they beat the ever-living hell out of her. And, strange enough, when the minority gang members left after they were done, kicking her ass. Kicking her Starbucks tushy, so to speak. She wanted more. That was the first time that I learned that, she was a horrible masochist of the nth degree. Long story short, who am I kidding? It wasn't that interesting, in my opinion, but I just wanted to share it. But, here's something I am going to share with you. Now, this is weird. But let's just say this is one of the many reasons why I hate onomatopoeia with a burning, burning passion. Now, as I said earlier, I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball to death. I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. Oh my goodness. How Son Goku impacted my life. Not just Son Goku. Not just Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, the entire cast. It has such a dear place in my heart. Onomatopoeia. And this happened yesterday. Onomatopoeia, when I was going to a Starbucks near where I live, in Emmaus. For some reason, actually, it wasn't in Emmaus. It was some Starbucks near where I was going. I think this is one. There was a Starbucks near Allentown, I believe. Yeah, it was a Starbucks near Allentown. So I went to Starbucks because I wanted to get a coffee. I wanted to get a coffee, so to speak. And, that's weird. For some reason, she had the audacity to randomly, yes, I said randomly, go out of her way, and she was helping a customer, by the way, go out of her way. She hates Dragon Ball. She hates Dragon Ball with a burning passion, and I understand that, but I tend not to let that bother me because, it's not perfect. Toriyama tends to forget a lot of his material, and that aids into a lot of the flaws that the Dragon Ball franchise has, with Z onwards, but she pretends that she's angry. She walks towards me in angry fashion, swaying her hips like she's in a fucking orangutan. And this was in public. And she's like, oh, you like Goku, huh? Oh, you like Goku, huh? Now, I don't know if she was especially challenged or not. But she literally lifted up my shirt and tried to milk me. Now, you can imagine why this didn't really make it in the news. Because it only lasted a few seconds before I literally punched her out. I called the police. They took her away. An hour after that happened. I don't know what's up with that woman. I hope I never see her again. Funny thing though, for some reason, they said when the cops showed up and they arrested her, they thought I provoked her they thought that I provoked her to do that act that she did to me by trying to milk me in public. So for some reason they arrested me too, and then I didn't really stay long at the station that I went to. I forget where, but oh my goodness, it was so embarrassing. I mean, I went in, and 3 seconds later, after I was being processed, being booked, the police commissioner basically, they were yelling at the police officers that arrested me, and, well, long story short, it was only about 20 minutes before I was off my merry way home. My life is so weird, and it gets weirder and weirder every time. It's so strange, but I like it. I like it so much. It's weird. But, oh wow. If you're bored, I apologize. I'm going to be doing these podcasts more often, well, on a regular basis. I don't know if I'll do it weekly or if I'll do it monthly. I'll make that decision in time. Yeah. Well, anyway, what else should I say? Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Now, I made a video about this earlier, but I want to ask you this on this podcast because I really want to delve into this further. What? Have you ever had a toast sandwich before? Yes, I know, that's a meme. That's an internet meme, the toast sandwich. But now, for those of you who don't know what a toast sandwich is, I'll explain it to you. So basically, you grab 3 slices of bread. You take the 2 of the 3 slices. You toast them, and you toast the 3rd slice when you take the 2 of the slices out, and you put them all together. No butter. Not even spring water. That is the toast sandwich. And I will tell you that it is the key to not only our ultimate survival, but our ultimate evolution. By eating the toast sandwich, you will become the peak of human evolution. Hands down, period. There is no other way. Albert Einstein himself didn't even think about this. Now, if you're wondering, obviously I'm joking, but just go with me. Just play with me for 1 second. Play with me for 1 sec. What the hell? Am I that nervous? Anyway, bear with me for just 1 second because there's a reason why I ask you this. So, obviously, I have a good relationship with my mother, although she doesn't really come around much to visit me because she's all the way in Liverpool. But my father, let's just say, when I was young, well, not really when I was young, when I was 2 years younger, when my 40th birthday, for some reason, I wanted to go to SeaWorld. I wanted to go to SeaWorld, and, oh my god, that was a bad decision. Long story short, my father died, got ate by the orca, one of the orcas that was there at SeaWorld. Yeah, for some reason, that wasn't in the news for some reason, but, yeah, they wanted to keep it under wraps, my father got eaten by a ravenous orca because my father wanted to feed him. The orca was named Steve. He wanted to feed him a toast sandwich. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. It was horrible. There was blood everywhere, and there was blood everywhere. Oh my goodness. Now, I'll tell you right now, this really didn't happen at SeaWorld, but we went to SeaWorld. You know, we had a good time. The show was awesome and everything. It's my 40th birthday. And we decided to go to the Jersey Shore, and we decided to swim around. For some reason, an orca showed up out of nowhere and ate my father. All because he saw it. I don't know why the orca was doing 50 yards away from the Jersey Shore, but that was a strange encounter. So my father fed the orca the toast sandwich. He ate the toast sandwich along with my father, and yeah, never seen again. Never ever seen again in my life. It was 2 years ago. It was cringe. It was utter cringe. Oh my god, it was so weird. I say that a lot. But, yeah. Now keep in mind, I'm a weird individual, so I'll tend to say things that are quite out of the ordinary. Well, I guess I can end this by talking about a recent OC I made, actually. Now, one of my favorite games of all time, my favorite franchise of all time, is the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I love Sonic so much. I remember when I got my first Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog was my first game I ever played on the Genesis. It was so beautiful. I loved it so much. Now, keep in mind, I love Mario, but not as much as I love Sonic. But as of recent, his games have kind of gone on the downward spiral, especially with Sonic Forces. It was a decent game, but it was so disappointing. They could have done so much more with it. Now, it's not as bad as my most hated Sonic game of all time, Sonic Freeriders. Oh my god, I will go into a tangent about Sonic Freeriders, but not now. This is just a test podcast. Oh my god. So, I made this original character called, Jesus Christ, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Now, this is so fucking weird. Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. He is a metal hedgehog that sparkles and is a rebel from the hedgehog species. Hence the term Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Now, here are some of his feats. He is faster than the speed of light. He cannot be outmatched by anyone except the Flash, maybe the Flash, and maybe Superman. But the Flash is faster. But it depends on what iteration of Flash and Superman. Especially if you go the Golden Age version of those characters. But he's so strong. He actually is able to lift continents in seconds. So he is the strongest being known to mankind. He is stronger than Superman. Because here's the thing, it's not about how strong he is, it's about how fast he obtains that strength. Well, I just basically said the same thing. He's extremely strong, and he can lift very heavy continents in seconds. He speaks 17 different languages, yes, even Klingon, and even Pig Latin. Pig Latin. Godzilla is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power. Okay. He speaks over 17 different languages. And he can say the N-word without getting hurt. Because, well, no one can basically hurt him. He can just say the N-word whenever he wants. Whenever he wants. He can just go to a African-American gentleman. He'll just call him the N-word with the hard R. And there's nothing that the African-American person can do about it because he can't be hurt. He is literally universal level. His powers are compared to a god. He is invincible, intangible. Well, I wouldn't say intangible. Invincible. So nothing can stop him, nothing can hurt him. He is a god incarnate. And he's my creation. Oh my god. But his special ability, one that is very specific to him, and is the reason why if you pit him against any fictional character, he will win no matter what. He has the unique ability to make everyone, or anyone he comes in contact with, have a spontaneous seizure. In the most cellular level, in the most cellular attosecond, in the most cellular level, you can make anyone from a lowly pebble, yes, you can make a lowly pebble have a seizure. If you've ever seen a pebble have a seizure, shake erratically, violently, without the ground shaking, well then that's Mental Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog saying, oh, he doesn't like that pebble, so I'm gonna make it have a seizure. Even Superman, even the likes of Superman and Goku, even Ultra Instinct, even Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, even all the angels, even Whis, even the Omni King, even the Grand Priest himself. These are all Dragon Ball characters anyway, for those of you who don't know Dragon Ball. Even Jiren, even Full Power Broly. In seconds, he'll just stare at him, he'll just yell, because all he knows to say, when he's not in any of his language modes, his base words are saying, Mental Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. If he's not speaking any other language, he just says Mental Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. That's his default, setting, without setting, a specific language. Because here's the thing, you can set his language, mode to English. And he'll speak fun, he'll speak words fluently. He is a mass of words. But if the mode's set to default, he speaks English, but all he can say is Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. So let's say let's say the Pokemon Incineroar, for example, all he knows to say is Incineroar. So let's say if he says Incineroar 5 times, let's say, Incineroar, 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 Incineroar. And he says, let's say, for example, I don't know, if Joy from Inside Out was making love to Daffy Duck from the Looney Tunes franchise, he would say, let's have a threesome, you jabronis. In translation to how many times he said Incineroar. Why did I say that? I am a strange individual. I am a middle-aged woman. Unreal. But that is his most strongest feat. Now, his 5 best friends are as follows. Me, of course, I am his mother. I am the mother of Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog. Now, now I'm not the only one who does this to their OCs, the original characters. The original characters of creation. Now, for those of you who know Christian Weston Chandler, or Chris Chan, he is the father of his creation, quotation, air quotes in creation, of Sonic and, Sonichu, so it's Sonic the Hedgehog and Pikachu. I don't like Kristen Weston Chandler. I think he is a hack and a troubled individual. Beyond troubled individual, but that is another thing entirely. But anyway, back to Mental Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog's friends. So he's best friends with me, his mother. I do everything for him. He is my sweet little angel. Oh my goodness. Mel Gibson. He was in movies with him such as Passion of the Christ and Passion of the Christ 2. I think there's a sequel to Passion of the Christ. If not, there was, because Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog made it himself. If it doesn't exist yet, it has already existed because of Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Sean Schemmel, the titular voice for Goku in the Dragon Ball franchise, and, well, Dragon Ball Z, onward. And, for those of you who don't know, Black Doom from Shadow the Hedgehog. One of my favourites of all time, by the way. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. Even though it has so many flaws, I still love it because I'm a huge Shadow fangirl. Out the edge. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Oh my goodness. So Sean Schemmel, actually loves to play the French horn. It's his favourite instrument. And he actually learned how to play the French horn from Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. That's one thing Sean doesn't like to tell everyone. Thank Metal Sparkle for that. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, aka DJ, or The Rock, or Rocky, or just Rock. Did you know that he used to be Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog? Used to be called Metal Sparkle the Pebble Rebel Hedgehog. But because Dwayne Johnson and Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, they were such good friends, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog actually made a bet with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If he can run over 15,000 balloons in 30 seconds, he will have The Rock's blessing to change his name from Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, or Metal Sparkle the Pebble Rebel Hedgehog, to just the Pebble. An honorary term that Dwayne would have given to Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, or Metal Sparkle the Pebble Rebel Hedgehog, if he didn't trip and pass out before during the challenge. He didn't pop one balloon, and he's able to fly at light speed. And he tripped, ironically, on a pebble. Somehow, I spanked him for that afterwards. After he went home, he realized, oh, I'm no longer called Metal Sparkle the Pebble Rebel Hedgehog. I'm just called Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. He lost his nickname. And I said to him, it's alright, son. I still love you with all my heart. But I'm going to have to whip you. And not with the belt, but with the belt buckle. Because you need to learn how to be Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Not the Pebble Rebel, the Rebel. Oh, don't question my parenting. I know how to parent. I know how to parent Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. So, and his best friend of all is Maury Povich. Now, for all of you who've watched the Maury Show, he was dating... Now, this is funny. So, I was on the show because Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog was actually dating... for some reason, Rosie O'Donnell. Now, this is one thing Rosie doesn't like to tell everyone, or anyone in general. He has actually dated my OC, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. So they went to the Maury Show, and Rosie O'Donnell was pregnant. He was pregnant. She was pregnant. Rosie O'Donnell was pregnant with my son's son, who was also named Sam. No, I'm serious. So Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, she had a son named Sun, who was in her belly at the time. This happened about a year ago, actually, And it turns out that Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog actually did not have sex with Rosie O'Donnell. Not once in his life did he have sex with Rosie O'Donnell. The baby actually came from another person. Everyone found that out when Maury Povich got the test results, and he's told, and I quote, "In the case of your newborn baby, son, Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog, you are not the father." Now, I shouldn't have to tell you, actually, there is a method. It's always fun whenever I see the show, and you know, when Maury gets the test results, and then they say to whatever the accused, father is, say, "You are not the father." Most of the time there's always a dance with it. So it's like some of them are like, "Oh, I told you, bitch, I told you." Or they just do a laughable dance while saying, "I told you," and then the mother is, crying her eyes out. She's like, "Oh my God!" And most of them always go back to the backstage and they just cry their eyes out. Most of them, not all of them. Most of what I've seen. I'm not the one to watch trash TV, but I give Maury an exception. But back to the case of Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. And I know I'm just writing this down on paper, just so I can help me out with topics and stuff. So he was not the father. He was never the father to begin with. He was dancing. Oh, he was dancing. He was dancing, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah." In Russian, one of his 17 languages. Rosie O'Donnell was crying. She broke the chair. She broke the monitor, and she tackled Maury Povich. Okay, she didn't tackle Maury Povich. She almost did, though. She tried to, for some reason, instead of tackling Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Maybe she knew that there's nothing that she can do against Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, because Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog is an invincible being. And she was lucky to even date my invincible son's being. With that being said, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog, the father's still out there. As of now, I don't know, but if I have any info on what that is, I will tell you at some point. Now, his most famous battle, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog's greatest battle, is with Perfect Cell in a Chuck E. Cheese. Specifically, in the Chuck E. Cheese in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. He met Perfect Cell there because he wanted to challenge him to, okay, so there's this game, this is Ninja Turtles game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time. A beautiful arcade beat-em-up game, one of my favorites of all time. Obviously the console ports were not as good, but regardless, it was a great game. So they challenged each other to Turtles in Time. For some reason, I don't know. Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog had the upper edge in every situation, in all the levels of Turtles in Time. And now keep in mind, they were playing co-op. They weren't going against each other, but for some reason, excuse me, I hiccuped. For some reason, oh my goodness, Perfect Cell was so angry. Metal Sparkle angered Perfect Cell so much that he actually blew up part of the roof of the Chuck E. Cheese, and they go up into a gladiatorious battle of the death. Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog versus Perfect Cell. Now, you might ask, why did Perfect Cell go to the Chuck E. Cheese in the first place? Well, it's simple. He's on a never-ending journey to become perfect. The thing is, he was already perfect. But he wanted to become even more perfect by harassing the kids at the Chuck E. Cheese and beating all the games in the Chuck E. Cheese, getting all the tickets so he can get all the prizes, and to eat the cardboard pizza that Chuck E. Cheese has. They have good wine there. They have good alcohol, but he wanted to salvage everything that the place had to offer in order to become perfect, even though he was already perfect to begin with. He wanted to become even more perfect. Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog stopped Perfect Cell from becoming perfect. You can't say that for anyone but Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. The fight lasted for about an hour. It was in the sky. And the fight ended in a Buffalo Wild Wings. It ended in a Buffalo Wild Wings. And it ended with Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog grabbing some random ghost pepper wings and shoving it into Cell's pie hole. And Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog... Oh my goodness. Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog actually was yelling to himself when he did that, because he realized, oh, he won. And then Cell is crying like, oh, I must become perfect. Even though he was feeling the almighty force of the ghost pepper wings. Now, I've had the ghost pepper wings. I love spicy food, but even that, the ghost pepper wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, they tickle my fancy. Oh, it's so hot. You really need a lot of milk after you eat at least one of them. But anyway, Perfect Cell was no longer perfect. He was still perfect, but he was no longer perfect, and it was all due to Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog. Now, I probably annoyed you by now by how many times I've said Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog. But I want to emphasize my creation, because he is the real story. Now, he is what solidified my creation as having a special place in my heart. Let me tell you the real reason how my father died. It was actually at SeaWorld. One of the orcas ate my father, and it was because not that he fed him a toast sandwich, and he compared the orca to my stolen drawing. Now, this was in my 40th birthday. My stolen drawing of Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog. Now keep in mind, I purposely drew him. It was a really shitty drawing. I made that purposely though, because it's artsy like that. And that was the real reason why the orca ate my father. The same orca who I later challenged to a Tekken tournament on the side of the street. Now, obviously, that part's not true, but yeah, ever since then, you can say the real reason why I adore Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog, so much was in honor of the orca who ate my father. Now, my father was 80 years old. He didn't give a shit about me. He just wanted my money. I don't know. Because for some reason, we went out to Olive Garden, and I treated him on my birthday. I treated him on my birthday to food. And do you know what he got me? Now, I didn't even want him. I didn't mind if he got me a gift or anything like that, because I didn't mind that. All I wanted, because he was living with me for the longest time, and he died, on my 40th birthday, And, all I wanted to hear was one lousy thank you. That's all. One lousy thank you. One lousy thank you. I didn't get it. So I decided, you know what? Good riddance. Honestly, I don't understand. He was so abusive. He was so abusive, verbally abusive, and, I don't know if he really cared about me or not. I know I'm getting personal, but I am glad that I got eaten by the orca at SeaWorld. So, Metal Sparkle the Rebel Hedgehog actually is a reminder of that great moment, one of the greatest moments of my life, where my father is finally rid of my life. From my life. All because of the orca at SeaWorld. Now, the orca's name was Josh. I will never forget that name. Josh, the orca. In honor of him, probably within the next month or so, I will make a Sonic OC version of Josh, the orca. In honor of him eating my father at SeaWorld. And there you have it. My OC, the greatest of all time, the great one, the phenom, the people's champion, the Texas rattlesnake himself, Metal Sparkle, the Rebel Hedgehog. Well, I probably made you cringe. I probably made you cringe. You probably don't believe half the words I'm saying, half the stories I'm making, afterwards I'm telling you. But that's okay. As long as you enjoyed my voice and what I was talking about. Now, yes, I do apologize, for me being nervous in the beginning, because I'm so new to this, but I have a good feeling about this. So, I'm actually going to call this, although this is my first podcast, since this is a test podcast, I will call this Riemsianne Rambles Episode 0. Episode 1, I want it to be structured. I want it to be more. Oh, that's me being nervous again. More coherent than how I was right now, because I was not coherent for half of this podcast. But, I'm going to learn from this, and I'm really excited to be doing this more often. Now, if you want to see more of my works, now, I have a good friend, his name is Riemsianne. He's the one who's helping me out, with, making art for me, and, just helping me out with my projects in general. He is such a help. If you would like to follow him on Instagram, I know I'm doing shameless promotion. You can, follow him on Instagram, Riemsianne Official. You can also follow him on YouTube. He only has 9 subscribers. That's pretty sad. If you can get at least one more subscriber. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. You can also follow him at, there's Facebook. He has a page called The Gam Society. If you want to follow that as well, go ahead. And also, in terms of me, I will actually be, so this podcast will be airing on YouTube first, but it will also air on Soundcloud. I'm going to be making my own Soundcloud. All of these, the Soundcloud will be dedicated to, my podcasts, any other random recordings I'd like to do, whether it be memes, anime memes in general, or just funny stuff, or just cringy stuff. I feel like being cringy. I will be making the SoundCloud. I don't have a SoundCloud just yet. Within the next week or so, This podcast, which will air on YouTube first, will also be airing on my God. Will also be airing on Soundcloud. Now, I want to close out with this. Now, you're hearing me right now. I'm a middle-aged woman who is a local reporter at her living area. And I don't know. Life is just a mountain. But that's how life's supposed to be. Life is a gigantic mountain that is meant to be experienced in the most positive and in the most negative of ways. Life is a mountain. I never thought I would actually get the courage, to make, this podcast, for example. But eventually I decided, you know what? Take the plunge. Life is all about taking risks. If you play it safe, you're not going to be doing yourself any favors. Now, I'm not saying take risks, 100% of the time. Because you need to know when to be safe and when to not be safe. But mostly, taking risks. Here's the thing about taking risks. If you fail, then you'll know that you failed and you'll learn from that mistake. You can just try again. Depending on... So I'd say it depends on, what you're trying to do in terms of, taking risks. Let's say if you jump out of a cliff and you take the risk, believing that you're going to survive. If you don't survive, well, obviously you're not coming back from that. But look at me rambling. I took the courage. Well, I gained the courage. I didn't take the courage. I gained the courage to try out new things in my life. The world is so cruel. It's so strange. Yet it's so beautiful at the same time. I love Mother Nature, but it's so unpredictable, like life, and the mountain that is life itself. I've lost so much, but I've also gained a lot. But if I learned one thing, it's this. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And we all make mistakes. I've made plenty. We all do. It's inevitable. In life, you're supposed to make mistakes. You have to in order to learn, to adapt, to grow. Whether it be from learning how to cook, or to finally learning how to deal with the Lucas matchup in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, Lucas is not a problem character. I heard that a lot of people want to ban Lucas from tournaments, which is completely absurd and ridiculous and rubbish, but that's for another time. But my point is this. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Now, obviously, if your job, for example, is to kidnap little children in white vans for money, offering invisible candy, then obviously that might not work out for you, because that'll do nothing but bad and harm. But anyway, I've rambled on for too much. So, I'm going to call this podcast Episode 0. Next podcast, which will happen either in a week or a month, I'm not too sure. Because I want to have this more structured. But I still want to speak from the heart, I don't want to be all in a script, be all caught up in a script. I don't like that. I like to speak from the heart. I want to speak from the heart of whatever topic I talk about, or if I'm talking about my life, or just stuff in general. I want to speak from the heart, not from a paper. I'll have bullet points to help me out, just so I'm not rambling, and I'm not, pausing for, random reasons, like what happens with this podcast, but I have a feeling that this is going to be great. This is going to be wonderful. And hopefully, you can take this journey with me. Well, I'm going to end this podcast here. My name is Riemsianne Riles of Emmaus, Pennsylvania. Of my life and yours. And if you don't like anything that I have to say, I'll be happily obliged to fight you in the side of the street, or you can ignore this and move on with your life. Fine, whichever way. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you whenever I make the next podcast, or whenever I make another video. Make another, video. Yeah. This is Riemsianne Riles signing out. Teetle, teetle, teetle. Teetle, teetle, teetle. I don't know why I say that.